Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're covering 9-Day Fiance the other way, season 2 episode 7. So I was a big fan of this episode. First we're going to start off with Jenny and Sumit. There really wasn't much with their storyline. I feel like I'm kind of getting a bit tired with their storyline because all we keep talking about this is this divorce, and what we know from Sumit is he wants to have the divorce. He's not like lingering on this divorce just because. He wants the divorce and he's planning on getting the divorce and marrying Jenny. They meet up with his friend or I guess one of his supportive friends, and Jenny questions him about why he didn't tell the truth, and I'm just like, Jenny, that's not your friend. He's loyal to his friend. That's why he didn't say anything. But he was really good at explaining himself. And then Jenny says, so I know you're going through a divorce. How's that going? And he's been in the process of getting a divorce for the past 4 years because they kind of keep going back and forth. He can't agree to, I guess, a price to pay. So it's been 4 years later and he still hasn't gotten divorced. And then Jenny kind of gets scared and says, like, hey, Sumit, like, am I going to be in that scenario where you're not divorced and it's 4 years later? And he was just like, no, I have the money, which I don't think he has the money, or like, where did he get this money? And then he was just like, it's a mutual divorce, so she doesn't want to be with me either. So this should be a bit more straightforward. So that's kind of all that happens with Jenny and Sumit. So next we have Armando and Keith. Really nothing much that happens with them. I would consider them my favorite couple because they seem like they both really love and care about each other and is very excited to see each other. Armando makes Kenneth a gift. Kenneth is still driving. He finally reaches to Mexico, and then in that same night he's going to be meeting Armando for the first time in about 9 months. It makes me so sad when I see Kenneth cry about his kids, because I'm just like, oh, he's really about his kids, but it's now thinking about like him and his happiness. And then Kenneth is trying to adjust, well, not trying to, but he's gonna have to try to adjust to life in Mexico. I'm happy that they live in a gated community because homosexuality is not widely accepted there. So I appreciate that they kind of have some safety, and the apartment looks nice considering these other apartments we've been seeing on this season so far. That apartment is a very live-in, move-in ready apartment. So next we have Ariella and Binyam. So it's the next day, and Ariella knows that her mom is gonna flip her shit. She knows, like, not only from like her mom's background and being a medical professional, that like just aesthetic wise it looks trashy, or it looks like trash. I don't want to kind of talk poorly about the apartment, because if that's a normal way of life, it's someone else's normal way of life. It's not mine, but it's someone else's, and for me to be like, well, that's not my standards, is kind of a little tone deaf. Especially because it's a third world country, so I can't expect. And Binyam did not come across that he was rich and had money, so why am I shocked? So she's scared to show her mom the apartment, and when she shows it to her, her mom was just like, she looked at that, she's like, not that, not that, not that. And like when she was bringing up different like health issues and stuff like that, I'm like, Binyam is still alive. Like, a lot of these people survive in this type of atmosphere. It's not ideal, but it's their ideal, so it's fine. I can understand for an American that's trying to adjust to this type of lifestyle, but I'm like wondering, when Ariel was living with him or staying with him or dating him or whatever, what type of conditions was she living in? Was she staying in like a hotel or something while she saw him? Because she seemed very kind of taken back. And I'm surprised because she lived there. So it's not like she visited, she actually lived there. So then Binyam has a surprise for her and says like, this is just kind of like the setup to your, like, our permanent home. I'm renovating it and I'm fixing it up. We'll only stay here for about a week or two and we'll move to the next apartment. So they're going to the apartment and it looks a little bit more modernized and a little bit more Americanized because of just the way the buildings are. They really did look like apartment complex. And then when they got in, I was like, Minium, this is supposed to be better. And it is, it's more spacious. It's more of something that if I'm going to live there, I prefer to live in a space that has 2 bedrooms, has a proper living room, a kitchen, blah, blah, blah. But the thing is, it doesn't have any of that stuff. It's still very much under construction. The construction doesn't even look like it's almost done. There's so much problems that you can see with the place, even though it's not done, but like still, you see all these problems. And then when they ask him like, hey, when are you going to finish renovating the apartment? Like everything. And he's like, everything? 2 weeks. And I was like, I'm like, you sound like a construction man, because a construction man will tell you 2 weeks and then a month later they're still working on the stuff. And Ariella doesn't have that kind of time, and I think her mom would feel uneasy leaving her in a very, very crappy conditions while she's off in America. So either Binyam has a team of people gonna be working behind the scenes, or she might have to consider another accommodation, because what she has is not it, especially when she's going to be bringing a baby into this world. So then next we have our favorite fighting couple, Brittany and Yazin. So they had the whole fight, and it's the next day, and Yazin comes over to tell Brittany that that she's going to be meeting his parents. And even though she wants an apology of what happened the day before, she doesn't get it. She gets a very half-assed one. He brings her flowers, and then he kind of makes the excuse of like, I'm jealous. I'm jealous when like a man hugs you, which I'm just like, I don't know if this is a Muslim cultural thing, but like, or this is just someone who's easily jealous and then uses that as an excuse, uses his culture as an excuse, because I was just like, that was uncalled for. I think he just kind of, from a scale of 1 to 10, he was at a 10 when she hugged that person. Especially because he made it seem like he was some kind of like stranger off the street, but like, this is the crew members that have been following her for however long. So I would say that she kind of knows them more than like a stranger. But anyways, and he tries to, I feel like his tone is definitely more calmer. He tries to play around with her, but then like he does these, like, I hate those type of people who will say something sideways and then you're kind of like, what? And then it's just like, oh, you know I love you. And it's just like, wait, but what did you just, like, why would you say that, or blah blah blah. He keeps playing it like that, which is kind of getting annoying, because it's just like, I feel like you're not listening to me. You're just saying something to see if that shuts me up. So they go to Yazin's parents' house, and his dad is all about, let's finalize this wedding. And when his dad said that, his dad meant like 2 days from now. So his dad is trying to explain that, like, okay, so you're gonna get married on this day, you're gonna talk to your father, and then this is gonna happen. And there's no way that Brittany's gonna get married. So she kind of says the excuse of just like, well, I want my dad to be there. And my dad has to look about coming here and blah, 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 blah. And his dad definitely seems a little bit more level-headed, was asking about like, are you aware of like Islam culture and all this stuff, which Brittany should have at least like done like a quick 212 Google Wikipedia search or something for her to be like, it's like taking a test and then not even looking at the textbook type of thing, where it shows that like she's not really committed to this, where she knew he was Muslim from time, and I'm sure they had to have a conversation on the customs and like what he would feel be appropriate for her. So I felt like she was wrong there, where she should have done some research. Like it's like buying a house and just not looking at it, just buying it based on the contract. She needed to do her research because she knows how it is. It's going to clash with her lifestyle, and she still kind of, I don't know what she thought was gonna happen, that like she's just gonna be the American girl walking around and everyone's gonna be like, okay girl, you do your thing, when like that's not how it works there. So he's telling her this stuff and she's kind of like, I don't know, we'll have to see and stuff like that. And the way that he's doing that little snarky ass shit, and then when she's kind of getting annoyed because she's like, his dad is talking, he's talking, his mom would say a few words, which just seems like his mom understands English perfectly, and she's kind of just like all over the place, like, okay, I don't understand. And he then proceeds to call her like baby or something in a very condescending way, like baby, baby. And she obviously was upset and said like, don't call me baby. Then his mom was just like, oh hell no. His mom's like, what do you mean don't call me, you don't want him to call you baby? He's gonna be your husband, so he can kind of like call the shots, do whatever he wants to do. You must listen to your husband. And she's kind of yelling all of this out, and Brittany's kind of like, okay, like I don't understand what she's saying. And you can kind of get like words here and there where you kind of heard a little bit of what she was referring to if you didn't speak the language. And then his dad is kind of getting frustrated because it's just like, wait, what is all of this? I thought you were gonna get married, and now you're telling me that you have to wait for her dad to come in January. What is all this ish? And then his mother started turning crazy and talking about, oh, when you marry, you forget about your other family, like this is your family now, and like blah blah blah, like talking foolishness where it doesn't seem like you combine like households together. It seems like you just leave one behind and you move on with your new one, which could be their culture, but that's a very big culture shock to someone who's used to you blend your families together. You don't just go like, hey dad, well I'm with my husband's family now, you guys can kick rocks. Like that's not how it works there. And I feel like it's on Yazin's part to understand her culture and understand why she might be acting the way she acts. Like, why is she hugging this man? Well, in American culture, a hug is a greeting. So don't you think that she's using a greeting gesture? Like, there's all of these stuff that I feel like both of them didn't do research. Yasmin thought like, if you're my girl, you're forgetting about everything else, you're dropping everything else. And then I don't know who said it, but I think someone said like, I think either the mom or dad or something said like, I want you to change yourself, change who you are, and be this person, be this new person. And I just felt like, you're not trying to kind of groom a child, where if a child has a bad habit, if you teach them a good way long enough, they will grow into that good habit. This is a grown woman. And they bring up social media. Look at her being a prostitute, which in their culture, because of the way she carries herself and acts, it's prostitute-like behavior. But in American culture, it's not. So like, there's a difference of cultures, like that type of stuff. I feel like it's very one-sided, of just like, you're picking my side and forget about your side, and that can't happen. Okay, and then last but not least, we have Devin and Jihoon. So Devin and Jihoon have this private conversation, and Jihoon finally admits to Devin that he didn't have his ish together. He never really had his ish together, and he lied to her in order to get the kids to come. And he went to school. I guess he went to school at one point, but then he thought it would be better or easier for him to just have a part-time delivery job where he can kind of set his own hours, he can kind of do what he wants to do, knowing that he has a family. Then he said, like, he took extra money and he gave it to his mom, which is just like, you're grown, you should be able to manage your money or prevent yourself from spending your kids' money. That's food out of your kids' mouth for what? You're not really doing much. And I hope the translator device was translating everything, because sometimes you saw only like a portion of the sentence that they said. But at the end of the day, Devin decided that, like, hey, I'm not sure if we should be together. I'm taking the kids and I'm going to a hotel with my mom. And at this point, Jihoon is devastated. He's like distraught, and I'm just like, honey, you brought it upon yourself, because no one told you to be lying to these people. Even if you decided, like, hey, let me go and visit versus you guys come here, maybe do something like that. But you just kind of wanted to be a lazy bum and then lied in order to get your own way. And then look at it at the end. You guys could be broken up. So, with that being said, that's the end of my recap of 9 Day Fiance The Other Way, Season 2, Episode 7. I can't wait. I've seen the preview for the next episode. I can't wait to see it. With that being said, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.
Just a dumb cunt, fucking sick and tired of it. Maybe I could front love, maybe I could buy a zip, maybe I get fucked up. Next time I could save some. Why it's gotta be like this? Why it's gotta be that way? Put it in